YouTube. It's your boy Yo Yo. Best that I did it. Back again with some college hoops for Tuesday, February 6th. But before we dive in, give me a quick follow on this joint. Give me a sub. Give me a like, and then comment your top three picks. I will be giving out $20 if you can go 3-0 with my 3-0. If we go 6-0 combined, I'm gonna cash up you $20. Comment your top three picks, and you must be subscribed to qualify. Without further ado, hit the notification bell so you do not miss my videos. But let's go with start off with Rutgers at Maryland. And the first thing I like in this game is the under. I like the under in this game. I like the under, but I think Maryland will win the game pretty comfortably. Rutgers is still the team that almost lost to Stonehill. You know what I'm saying? They did come off of a good win on the road against Michigan after trailing in the first half. Maryland's coming to this one losing to Michigan State after damn near keeping it close the whole entire game and then just letting them blow away at the last 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Under. They on a 4-1 streak to the under, and I'm not gonna get off of it here. Give me the under again. As you can see, Rutgers a pretty good under team. A couple trends for Rutgers. The Rutgers has hit the total under in the last 22 of the last 32 games. I like the under in this matchup more than anything, and Maryland will win the game on the money line. Next up, DePaul at St. John's. We got St. John's coming in this one, 22-point favorites. This is a terrible DePaul team, terrible DePaul team. But when you see they getting these big giant numbers, even at Creighton, who I think is a slightly better than St. John's, they covered against Marquette. I think I'm gonna have to take DePaul to cover, just because it's such a big number, and St. John's is also have not won many games in their last five. They're 1-4 in their last five, and you know what I'm saying. They really, I mean, when they land a big number, they covered the 25-point spread against Holy Cross. Didn't cover 20 against Stony Brook. Beat them by 16. I think we get something like that in the back door. 18, 16, maybe even 19-point win for them. DePaul covers by 2 points, 1 point. Give me the damn DePaul Blue Demons to cover the spread, but I do think this is a game that's gonna go over the total. Give me the over and DePaul to cover. Mississippi at South Carolina, and I'm going short, sweet, and simple. South Carolina. I'm laying the 4 points. This is plenty enough. I think they end up winning the game late. It gets close, and then they just blow away in the last 3 minutes. Probably goes up 7-8, and then it can't be stopped from there. It might end up winning the game by 14, 13. But I know it's Ole Miss gonna keep it close like they did last game, and then they just let Auburn come all the way back into it and just absolutely handle them. South Carolina, they will be turned up. The Gamecocks is one of the best Gamecocks team we've seen in recent years. 19-3. A couple trends for y'all real quick. Ole Miss has hit the first game over in the first half, 22 of their last 32. And South Carolina has hit the money line in 19 of their last 28 games. I'm going to go with my boy South Carolina Gamecocks. Money on the spread, against the spread actually. They're 8-4 at home against the spread. Pretty good. You know what I'm saying? This team, Ole Miss, is not confident on the road at all. 3-3 record-wise, but 2-4 to cover. Give me South Carolina to cover the spread. Next up, Wake Forest at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is missing Bayan Dongo, their leading scoring freshman. They're also 4-1 in their last five. Georgia Tech did keep it very close. They won the first half. You know what I'm saying? When they played these boys. And Dongo is still playing limited minutes. As you can see, he got hurt in this game. Then he came back last game, he's playing limited. I'm not going to bet Georgia Tech until Bandongo is back healthy. Give me Wake Forest to lay the number. I'm laying it with Wake. I like who you know what I'm saying. Wake got on their team. They got a lot of players. Hunter Salas, Andrew Carr. They got their boy. They got them boys over there, man, and they could really stick defense too. You see what they did to fucking Syracuse. Let's look at their 99 to 70, 30 piece. They could hoop. Give me Wake Forest lay the big spread. Clemson at UNC. Now we gonna go old school in this one. 10-0 UNC coming in this one. I think Clemson comes out to fight, man. I do. I really do. I just don't know how they kept it close with Louisville. They did let Louisville dress up the scoreboard late. Then when you went on the road at Duke, it was a 1 point loss. At Florida State, 11 point win. At beat Virginia Tech, you lost by 15. The same UNC team at your crib, 34 to 34 at half. Then they outscored y'all by 10 after the half. RJ Davis didn't even have over 20. I'm gonna have to go with my boys to keep it close. They did just beat them by damn near, you know what I'm saying? 10 points. They beat them by 10 points. Now UNC is at the house in this one, and somehow I just think Clemson's gonna keep it close. I just can't overlook Clemson. Give me Clemson to keep it close and cover the spread. They do have enough firepower. They do have enough. UNC is not unbeatable. They did just lose to Georgia Tech. Yes, they did. One of the weaker teams in the conference. Give me Clemson to keep it close, but I do like UNC to get the job done on the money line. Next up, Florida State at Boston College. Boston College is the favorite in this one by 3 points. Florida State's 3-3 on the road. In conference play since January, they have been on a little tear. They only lost 3 games, won 6-3 in conference play. And when they go out on the road, they have no problem showing up. Miami, Notre Dame, Syracuse. I'm sure this Louisville game is fucking a head scratcher for everybody, but it happens. You know what I'm saying? It's college basketball. You cannot win every game, even though it's a weaker team. It's just how the dice rolls in college. And when you look at these boys, they're a four win team and a 5 loss. You know what I'm saying? 4-5. They're a little bit less superior. That's why it's such a pick 'em. I did try to fade Boston College in their last game against Notre Dame. My bad, Notre Dame, and then it was still a 3 point win for Boston College, but they didn't look like they had them beat dead out. It was a little bit of a controversial call towards the end of the game. You know the refs, the way the games. But I'm short, sweet, and simple going with Florida State in this one to get the job done on the outright money line. Let's go Seminoles. Let's go Seminoles. I know they got it in them. They're better than Boston College, talent-wise and coach-wise, defensively, everything. Like, just the way to close the games. Like, you know what I'm saying? To count on somebody to close the game out, I'm going to lean with Florida State. Oklahoma State at Houston, and Houston is laying 21, basically 20 points. 12-0 they are at home, and 0-5 is Oklahoma State on the road. I understand that. But 20 points, though. Yeah, they beat Kansas State by 22. They tried to lay 17.5 with UCF. It didn't work. Laid 13 with Texas Tech. They ended up beating them boys by 23. Covered a 20-point spread against West Virginia. We know how bad West Virginia is. Covered damn. Yeah, I know when they coming up these big schools like Dayton. Yeah, give me my boys Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State is going to cover the game. Even though they're not the best, they're really not the best in this conference. They are terrible. They have been miserable in conference play. I have to admit, they have been miserable, miserable, terrible, 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 terrible. They keep getting jackhammered by these boys. They couldn't keep it close with Texas Tech. Couldn't keep it close with Iowa State. And you keep getting fucking shitty on by the Kansas Jayhawks. Houston can blow them boys out, but I think it's going to be one of them games they wake up for. Give me Oklahoma State to cover the spread, and I like the under. Next up, VCU at Fordham. Give me VCU. Fordham is not really doing the most. They really just winning and picking their spots when they want to look competitive. Then they just go back right looking like a fucking failure. They wanted to compete super hard in fucking George Washington's game on the road at that and get an overtime win. And then the very next game against LaSalle, who's not as good as George Washington or St. Bonaventure, and you lose. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those inconsistent teams. You're losing to the bad teams and somehow beating the good teams or competing with the good teams. You lose to Davidson by 10, but compete with Loyola, Illinois, and lose by only 4. You beat a St. Louis team, and you losing to them Richmond and Duquesne. Duquesne is on the. They're better than SLU, but you know what I'm saying. This team is terrible. They lost to them Central Connecticut State by 2. Lost to NJIT at home. This is the what you can expect from these boys. And Fordham, I'm fading Fordham. Give me VCU to lay the 4 points. Ohio at Ball State, and Ball State is at home. I'm going with Ball State as the home underdog. They're showing us no real reason to be an underdog in this spot, other than the fact that they've really only won a couple games in conference against the weaker teams, and you instantly beat EMU. Kept it stuck up there with Akron, stuck it up there with Toledo, stuck it up there with Central Michigan. You know what I'm saying? You beat Bowling Green. I mean, you lost to Bowling Green, but other than that, you beat Buffalo, beat Northern Illinois, beat Western Michigan, went to OT with Miami of Ohio. Ohio is coming to this one off of a 3-game winning streak, beat Buffalo, Miami of Ohio, and Kent State. Lost to Akron, beat EMU. Lost to Western Michigan on the road. This is what I'm talking about. On the road, they can lose to weaker teams. And that's why I'm going to have to give the edge to Ball State. Lost to Davidson as well before the New Year's. Give me my boys, Ball State, to get the home victory. Ohio is fishy on the road, 1-6. I'm not trusting them on the road. You can trust Ohio on the road, not me. Instantly. Next up, Western Michigan at Kent State. Western Michigan is 2-8, 20% to the money line on the road. And Kent State's 5-6 at home, losing record at home, worst Kent State team I've seen in the last 4 years. That's just crazy that I'm gonna say this, but I think Western Michigan is gonna cover the game, cover the sport. They're gonna cover the 10 points. I got Western Michigan to cover the spread. I know they burnt us like probably 3 games ago, but this is a spot I like Western Michigan. I'm gonna pick Western Michigan to go cover the spread. Kent State laying 10 at home has not been good. At home, laid 7.5, didn't do it. Laying 1 at Akron, at home against Akron, couldn't do it. Laying 8 points against Central Michigan, couldn't do it. Laying 4 against Toledo, couldn't do it. Laying 10 against Eastern Michigan, couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So give me, and I like Western Michigan more than Eastern Michigan. Give me Western Michigan to cover the spread. Indiana at Ohio, give me Ohio. Indiana's frauds on the road. Indiana's only able to win at home, from what I can tell. Give me Ohio State. They got the much better team, much better advantage at home. They are 4-8 covering the spread at home. It's pretty bad, but they are still 9-3. Only 3 losses out of 12 games. Give me my boys Ohio State to get the job done at home. Rhode Island at GW, George Washington, and I'm going with George Washington on the money line. I might sprinkle some on the spread for George Washington, but I know they're getting it done on the money line for sure. Canisius at Niagara. Niagara is one of those teams that's super hit or miss. We faded Canisius in the last game against Quinnipiac, and it worked so good for us. That's exactly what the fuck I wanted my boys to do in my boys Quinnipiac. They so underrated. Give me Niagara to get the job done, but I'm not in love with this spot for Niagara. They coming home after an overtime win and an overtime loss, but their last 2 home games they 1-1. The last 3 home games they're fucking 1-2. Lost to Siena and fucking Manhattan. Are two weakest teams in the conference. Other than that, you've been going on the over trend, overs, hella overs. I like this game to go over the total as well. I think it gets right into the 150s. Give me the over with Canisius and Niagara. Canisius is just miserable. They've only won 1 game in their last 6 games. They're 1-5. They used to be a much better over team, but this year they're kind of inconsistent. But I still like the over in this game, and I like Niagara to get the job done at home. Northern Illinois, NIU at Miami, Ohio. And Miami, Ohio is coming to this one off a tough heartbreaker loss against their in-state rivals. I'm gonna go with my boys, Miami of Ohio, to get the job done at home. NIU is not gonna win the game. They're 20% on the road, 2-8, 20%. Give me Miami of Ohio to get the job done on the road. Central Michigan at Akron, and give me my boys Akron, no doubt about it. Central Michigan can keep it very close. I do think Central Michigan can cover the spread. Give me Central Michigan to cover the spread, but I like Akron to get the job done outright on the money line. Next up, we got Buffalo at Bowling Green, and I'm going with Bowling Green, lay the big number. Bowling Green is going to throttle up them boys. Toledo at Eastern Michigan, and I'm going with Toledo to throttle up these boys as well. Eastern Michigan is a fraud. They can't do anything right. They Mr. Can't get right. EMU at home. Let's look at what they've been doing. Akron, you lost by 31. You lost by 10 to NIU. NIU is terrible. Buffalo you won against Buffalo, the worst team, a 2-win team. Western Michigan beat you by what? 17. Ohio beat you by 18. Ball State beat you by 14. God damn, Michigan. I mean, fuck. Like, they can't do nothing right. Give me Toledo to lay the big number. I'm not scared to lay the big number. That's Eastern Michigan. Next up, we got Dayton at St. Joseph's, and I'm going with Dayton. It's only a 2-point spread, and I think Dayton's way better than St. Joseph's. St. Joseph's is susceptible to lose a game. As you can see, their last 5 games, they pretty much all been decided by 1 or 2 buckets. If you see what I'm saying, since January 3rd, since the start of conference play, they won by 4 points. I mean, they lost by 4, lost by 3, lost by 3, won by 2, won by 1, won by 2. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're even when they do win, they're barely winning, and when they lose, they're right on the edge of winning, but not able to get over the hump. I don't like teams like that can't put it together in the fucking final 2 minutes of the game. Give me Dayton to run laps around these boys. I'm gonna lay the spread with Dayton. Next up, BYU at Oklahoma, and I'm going with Oklahoma at home. No way in hell they should be the underdog. Super disrespectful. Go with Oklahoma. The Sooners are real. BYU should not be ranked over Oklahoma at all. I don't care about the quad two wins, none of that. Give me Oklahoma all day at home. You will see what I mean. Going against this Oklahoma team at home, I mean, you got away with it with Texas Tech, and Texas did their thing. I must admit, Texas Longhorns did do their thing. But before then, Iowa State couldn't take them out. Providence couldn't take them out. They really only played a little tough, a cupcake schedule in non-con. That's why they've been losing some of these games. The TCUs and the Kansas on the roads. Those are tough games on the road. You got a good outright win against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's not ready to hang with this conference. And you beat Kansas State on the road, who just beat Kansas today. You know what I'm saying? You just beat Kansas in overtime. That's a great win for you on the road. I know Oklahoma is very good and very talented. They just haven't been showing it to the bigger teams in the conference. And BYU is a little bit, you know what I'm saying, overrated to me. Like, seriously. I do like that the fact that they've been going over the total in the last 5 games. They've been all overs. And I think we get right under the total actually, because right when it's five unders in a row, it's gonna be that under. I like the under in this game, and I like fucking man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I think Oklahoma's gonna bust them boys by at least 7, 8 points. Give me Oklahoma to lay up to 6, 7 points. Next up, Iowa State at Texas, and I'm going with Iowa State to lose the game at home. On the upside, no, I'm just kidding. But let's go with Texas Longhorns in this one. My reason being for this one, you see what they did to Houston. Took them to OT, should have beat them at home. Lost to BYU was bad. They beat Oklahoma. Baylor win at home was huge. I know they're ready for those big games now at home. At first they weren't. They lost to Texas Tech. Then when they hit that Baylor stride and bounced back right after that, went on the road, got another win. And now they just faced the TCU team on the road, got a good win. Now they coming home where they welcomed in by warm arms, loving arms. When they just going on a significant road stand, yeah, I gotta go with my boys. I know they've been keeping it close every single game. They lost to BYU as well, and they lost to Oklahoma as well at Oklahoma. If they're so mighty and great, you know what I'm saying, who did beat with a Houston team, if they're so mighty and great, right? Why aren't they? Look at this. If Iowa State is so mighty and great, why are they not in a better position than what they are right now? They're 14th ranked. If these dudes are so mighty and great, and they out here losing, to Virginia Techs, you know what I'm saying, on neutral venues. That happened this year. They lost to these boys. When you go on a find a good team to fight, look at who they're playing: EIU, New Hampshire, FAMU, Prairie View, DePaul. You know what I'm saying? They haven't really played anybody. Then they're winning their games in conference, so people are thinking that they're legit. I just think it's a little bit of fish going on with Iowa State. Give me Texas at home to show them who the real team, who the real power team is. Give me Texas to win the game outright at home in that hostile environment. And I love the under. I like the under in this game heavy. Tennessee Martin at Little Rock, Little Cock. And we've been fading Tennessee Martin ever since they lost that Division II game. And they've been on a little tear in the last 4 games, but this Division II game they almost lost against these boys right here. And William Woods Owls. I don't even know where that's located. but they almost took a L. They did lose the first half, and they almost lost the full game outright. Ever since then, we've been fading them. The next two games they won, they burned us. But then the next two games after that, we faded them again, cashed out. And this same Little Rock team they faced at home, the total was at 172. Like they're just that good of a team, I guess. And it went right under the total. It's still at 160 something. And I'm thinking the under is gonna hit again automatically. The last three games has been all under the total for these boys. They're not lighting the scoreboard. I'm sorry, the last four games, they're not lighting the scoreboard up. They're not. I'm sorry, they're not. They're not. You know what I'm saying? They're not lighting the scoreboard up. They can't score 90 consistently. They're not that fucking good. Books are over tweaking. Yes, they both have bad defenses. That's where it's, you know what I'm saying? But just straight skill. No. Give me the under in this Little Rock Arlington Live. You know what I'm saying? I can't go with no team that's gonna score at least 60, 70 and call it a night. Give me my boys in the under. And I like UT Martin to cover the spread. I'm fading Little Rock. Fading Little Rock the whole season. Butler at UConn, number one. Give me my boys UConn, 12-0, 20-2. Butler is a fucking joke. On the road, they're 3-4, pretty solid. 3-4 against the spread as well. They won a good game again against Creighton. We already knew they was gonna beat Villanova. It's no surprise. Villanova's terrible this year. And at DePaul, you lost by 14. Beat Georgetown on the road. On the road, beat Marquette. The same UConn team was 88-81 first game. I think we get way over the total again. This is a game that's gonna go over. When UConn has a team that can't stop them, like Butler or like Xavier or like Georgetown, it's gonna go over the spread. You know what I'm saying? When you got a good team like Creighton or Villanova, a more defensive team, St. John's a better team. You're gonna go under the total. I know how to read these Big East teams. This was my conference, kind of. Um, I gotta go with the over as the strongest play. It's gonna go right into the 150s. And I also like Butler to keep it close in the first half, but UConn to run away with it late. Give me UConn to win the spread, but I like Butler to cover the spread first half only. I think it's gonna be at least like 41-36, 42-34. You know what I'm saying? They might be down 8 at half, but it's in the 70s already at halftime. Give me the over, and I like Butler to cover the first half spread. Kentucky at Vandy. Give me Kentucky to win the game by more than 10 points. Vanderbilt's not ready this year. They're just like their football program. It's an automatic fade. Give me University of Kentucky to get the job done. Winning record on the road against the spread on the road at 3-2. Kentucky's much better. Much better. Much better. Kentucky is still growing, still learning. They're still a little bit of a young team, but they're not bad. They're not worse than Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is coming to this one losers of all of their conference games except for one. They just won. Every damn game has gone under except for the LSU game. I like the under in this one, just off back of a miserable. They've given up on the season type of attitude. Give me Kentucky to win the game on the spread and the under. New Mexico at Wyoming, and Wyoming's a 10-point underdog at their crib. I think Wyoming's got enough to, you know what I'm saying, put it to these boys. New Mexico on the road, 3-3, 50-50 shot. On the road, the last two games beat these boys by 20 each, 19 and 20 on the dot. Before that, you lost by 10. In Wyoming, you beat by 16. 17, my bad. You beat Think Boy by 17. Was up fucking 17 at halftime. And they came back and, you know what I'm saying, tied it up with the second half. I know what's going on with this Wyoming team. It's too many fucking ball hogs, not enough fucking playmakers. Sam Griffin is a good fucking scorer, but he's not a playmaker. He can play make, but he's not the best. You know what I'm saying? Like he makes a couple people better, but he doesn't make the whole team better. Give me my boys. Wyoming to cover the spread, but I like New Mexico to win the game outright. Boise State at Colorado State. And Boise State's 5.5 point underdog. Ooh, we got us one. Give me Kansas State, not Kansas State, Colorado State to get the job done at home. Big time upset coming around this game. New Mexico just took a loss to these boys. You went on the road, struggled with Fresno State. Went on the road before that, beat Nevada. The same game, you beat these boys. I just think Colorado State's better than them. But I do like Boise to keep it close, and I like the under in this game. It's going to be very defensive. We might not get out of the 60s. I think 135 is the highest it's going to go. Give me the under in this game as the strongest play, and then Colorado State on the money line to get the revenge. Charlotte 49ers at USF. And I'm liking what I'm seeing from Charlotte, like I said, but like I also took USF last game against North Texas and they got the outright win as a 6.5 point underdog. Great to see it. My boys are on a mission right now, on a heater. Since the 12th, they haven't lost, and when they did lose on the 7th, it was by only 4. They didn't play USF yet. Didn't play them yet this year. USF is on a real heater right now, but so is Charlotte. Charlotte as well. This is a battle of the streaks. They have a longer streak than these boys. They've been on a streak since the 6th after FAU win. And I just think it's just like, damn, it's a bad time to come into this damn road environment against another team on a streak. It's hard to keep doing this week in and week out as the underdog, and you're in a way. I got to side with USF in this one at home to slow these boys down and keep their streak alive. Give me USF Bulls on the money line. Nevada at Utah State. And I'm loving Utah State in this one. Great Osobor and them boys are great at home. They're unfucking touched, 10-0. And that's just when Nevada's at their weakest on the road. When they're not in Reno, Nevada Wolfpack is not the same team. I'm going to keep saying that. Jared Lucas is a ball hog. All he does is shoot threes and shoot and just try to, you know what I'm saying? He always has 0 or 1 assist every game. He doesn't make anybody better. You're not going to beat teams of this caliber on the road with a team like Nevada. They have no real true point guard. It's not going to carry over into no conference plays, wins, you know what I'm saying? Give me Utah State on the money line. I will lay the 6-2. Michigan State at Minnesota. And Minnesota's 12-3 at the crib, but they're the underdog. And against a 1-4 Michigan State team. And this is when I'm hopping off Michigan State as soon as they go on the road as the favorite. That's when I hop off Michigan State. As you can see, they beat Minnesota earlier, laying 12. They won by 10. The over did hit in this game. By 3 points. Michigan State, they didn't really do too much, you know what I'm saying? They just hit a lot of fucking free throws. 15 free throws made. They only hit 3 threes at 25%. Had a bad shooting night, still won by 10. Michigan State only had 4 turnovers compared to Minnesota's 19 turnovers. And they won by 10, you know what I'm saying? Minnesota was only down by 5 in each half. So it is about, you know what I'm saying? It's still a close game. It just looks bad. Give me Minnesota to get the revenge. I like Minnesota in the revenge spot. I think they get the job done. Coming off of these bad games they've been having, They just got some little spark back. They got their little spark back. Almost beat Wisconsin at home. Then you fucking go and do that to Northwestern in overtime. Give me my boys, Minnesota, to get the revenge and get these boys out of there. Texas Tech at Baylor, and we about to finish the night slate off. Baylor is coming in this one 6-point favorite. Texas Tech 6.5. 16 point. You know what I'm saying? 16 wins, 5 losses. Fucking Cincinnati beat them at home too. BYU, you did beat them. Oklahoma only lost by 1. All these games been over. As you can see, these is the top over teams in this conference in the Big 12. Only one game has went under in their last about 10 games. And this team, Baylor, is definitely good for the over. They could score like nobody's business, you know what I'm saying? 100 to 105, over 140, 139, 146. You know what I'm saying? They're keeping it very high pace every game. When it's a Texas, like a Iowa State team who's low scoring, of course it'll go under. Kansas State under. Cincinnati can't score with the best of them. Come on, man. Look at this team. Give me my boys Baylor at home, and I'm going with the over. I like the over as the best play in this one. Give me the over in Baylor and Baylor to get the job done. Fresno State at San Jose, and I'm going with San Jose at home. Later too with San Jose. San Diego State is coming in this one, laying 12 points at Air Force. And I faded San Diego State last game, and it did not come into tuition. As you can see, the past results for Utah State did end up losing that game. We were on Utah State in that one, but it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? We gonna bounce back though. We fading San Diego State because we know when they play these bigger teams, New Mexico, Boise, Colorado State, they're losing. Air Force is a very beatable team for this team. Give me my boys San Diego State to win the game outright. And I might lean towards covering the spread. Air Force has only won one game in their last 10. Give me San Diego State to cover the spread. Last up but not least, I'm laying the points with St. Mary's. Pacific is the worst team in the conference, probably on the West Coast. Period. I think Sacramento State is probably better than Pacific. Pacific is that bad. I think if me and you join it, you know what I'm saying? If me and you put up a little street ball team, we could be better than Pacific. Give me St. Mary's to lay the big number, and that's how we're going to end the night off. I'm going to give y'all my 3 locks of the night. I think the best lock of the night, the top 3 has to be Baylor over with Texas Tech. I love the over in that game. Give me the over and UConn and Butler. 2 overs. And I'm going to go with Toledo to cover the 12 points. And then an honorable mention, if you want to switch any 3 of those out, I will have to go with my boys VCU to cover the spread as the 3.5-point favorites. And if you want to make it a 5-leg, we're going to throw South Carolina in there, the Gamecocks. Let's beat. But my top 3 for sure is the over on Baylor and Texas Tech, the over on UConn, and we're going to go with VCU minus 3.5. If not, Toledo minus 11.5. That's how we're going to cook it up. Comment your top 3. And let's smash the books together. It's your boy Yo Yo. Till next time.